From the ultra-violent Mad World to the hyper-stylish Astral Chain, Platinum Games has forged a decade of games defined by their willingness to divert from common gaming trends. Few other games from the Japanese studio encapsulate this ethos better than Bayonetta and Vanquish. Both releasing across PS3 and Xbox 360 in 2010 in the West, they quickly developed a cult following. While only Bayonetta continued as a series, Vanquish 2 left a lasting impact on players.
Yeah! As long as there's music, I'll keep on dancing.
Beginning with Bayonetta, you play through the story of an Umbran witch whose lost memories and quest to find the other half of her fancy magical jewellery set the scene. En route to finding answers, Bayonetta travels between heaven, hell, and in between, fighting angelic entities who look like demons. Honestly, the bonkers plot primarily serves as a vehicle for utterly ridiculous action and the eponymous character who wields pistols on her hands and feet. Oh, and she wears a skin-tight outfit made of her hair. Inspired by the action-packed Devil May Cry series, Bayonetta is far from a simple button masher. You're encouraged to experiment with punches, kicks and bullets, often culminating in a flashy finisher where Bayonetta's garb largely dissipates and reanimates into a massive stiletto stomp or pounding fist of pain. Additionally, torture attacks use a full magic meter to dish out punishment and embarrassment in equal measures. These brutal and highly amusing moves range from summoning tombstones and Iron Maidens for pulverization, to a plain old spanking and guillotine. Bayonetta's got it all, baby. Beyond a ridiculous arsenal of attacks, your witchy waifu can summon the oh so satisfying witch time after dodging an attack at the very last second. During witch time, everything else slows to a crawl, giving precious extra time to land devastating combos. Activating witch time is always thrilling, as it gives you tangible feedback that you're nailing combat. Much is said about the pervasive male gaze in video game depictions of women, and Bayonetta straddles a very fine line between feminine empowerment and pervy fan service. Delightfully camp and risque, Bayonetta owns her sensuality and flaunts it with complete control, playfully owning her portrayal. While the lens highlights moments of raunchiness, it usually doesn't leer beyond quick-moving camera shots of how the Umbra Witch uses her wiles to violent advantage. If there are any criticisms to be laid at the feet of Bayonetta's remaster, it's the textures do show their age and some light platforming elements feel fiddly. In addition, the frenetic cutscenes are occasionally difficult to follow due to lightning-fast edits and odd-shot compositions. Conversely, these cutscenes are the very essence of Platinum Games, the antonym of subtlety. Akin to the gameplay, fast-paced action is interspersed with punctuating moments of slow motion, giving a brief moment of respite and an opportunity for Bayonetta to strike a sultry pose alongside a witty quip. None of these minor issues detract from being a bad bitch. Bayonetta's smart, sassy, and sadistically fun to play as in this super smooth remaster. Next up is the cult classic in Vanquish, the boosting, sliding, smoking robot shoot 'em up. Starring the gravelly voiced Sam Gordon as an agent of DARPA, you fight against the big bad Russians who literally vaporize San Francisco in an act of war.
There is but one way to prevent the destruction of New York City. Your complete and unconditional surrender.
Unlike Bayonetta, Vanquish's story feels overly cliched and not as interesting. It's pulpy, guilty pleasure stuff. However, its bombastic presentation and ridiculous sci-fi military stylings fulfill that lizard brain craving for mindless Michael Bay action. All you really need to know is that Gordon brandishes a sophisticated mech exoskeleton known as an augmented reaction suit, or ARS. While many shooters before and since handle the act of shooting with more finesse and precision than Vanquish, they don't let you slow-mo slide around in a jet-propelled mech suit. Gordon's ass empowers you to dash and enter brief moments of slow motion at will, so long as it doesn't overheat. If the suit overheats, Both abilities are locked, and movement is slowed until it fully recovers. Therefore, zipping around and shooting enemies becomes a delicate dance of managing your suit's systems, lest you be left vulnerable in a critical state. As a cover-based third-person shooter, Vanquish is the antithesis of Gears of War. Where Gears is deliberately heavy and slow, Vanquish is nimble and quick, encouraging you to always be on the move. In fact, with the time completion bonuses awarded after each chapter, Vanquish only wants you to use cover when absolutely necessary. Like Bayonetta's remaster, Vanquish runs beautifully on an Xbox One X and arguably looks the slightly sharper of the two. Looking back over the 10 years since both of these games originally released, many trends have come and gone. The folks at Platinum Games do such a fantastic job with slow motion to punctuate action sequences. While the Japanese developers aren't pioneers of slow motion action in games, they've created some of the most enjoyable instances of playable John Woo-like moments. Bayonetta's cultural impact is arguably Platinum Games' most significant achievement to date. With 2 games, and a third eventually on the way, plus the Umbran Witch's Super Smash Bros. Appearances, a recognition of how great a character she is and how fun her games are. If you haven't played either Bayonetta or Vanquish, now is the best time. Despite the visuals showing their age at times, both games play brilliantly on an Xbox One X. Most importantly, the action is just as thrilling now as it was back in 2010. Bayonetta and Vanquish remain among the best of Platinum Games' eclectic portfolio.
You look tired. Let me tuck you in.